The moment that changed everything. After the attacks of September 11, 2001, the United States faced a painful realization. The information needed to identify threats already existed. There were intelligence reports. There were financial records. There were communication records. There were warning signs. But the problem was that the information was scattered across different organizations and different systems. The FBI had one piece. The CIA had another. The Department of Defense had additional information. But no single system could connect all those pieces together. It was like having thousands of pages from a book spread across different rooms without knowing the correct order. Human analysts were forced to search through enormous amounts of information manually, trying to discover connections before it was too late. The world needed a new solution, a technology capable of finding hidden relationships inside massive amounts of data, a system that could help humans see patterns that were impossible to recognize alone. And from that urgent need, a company was born, a company that would challenge the traditional idea of what a technology company could become. That company was Palantir. The moment that changed everything. After the attacks of September 11, 2001, the United States faced a painful realization. The information needed to identify threats already existed. There were intelligence reports. There were financial records. There were communication records. There were warning signs. But the problem was that the information was scattered across different organizations and different systems. The FBI had one piece. The CIA had another. The Department of Defense had additional information. But no single system could connect all those pieces together. It was like having thousands of pages from a book spread across different rooms without knowing the correct order. Human analysts were forced to search through enormous amounts of information manually, trying to discover connections before it was too late. The world needed a new solution, a technology capable of finding hidden relationships inside massive amounts of data, a system that could help humans see patterns that were impossible to recognize alone. And from that urgent need, a company was born, a company that would challenge the traditional idea of what a technology company could become. That company was Palantir. The founders behind Palantir, Peter Thiel, Alex Karp, and the birth of a new technology era. The solution to this massive data problem would come from a group of entrepreneurs who believed that technology could be used for something far more important than entertainment or convenience. One of those people was Peter Thiel. Before Palantir became known as one of the most important artificial intelligence companies in the world, Thiel had already made his mark in Silicon Valley as a co-founder of PayPal. PayPal changed the way people moved money online, but behind its success was a technology challenge that many people never saw. The company had to analyze millions of financial transactions and identify suspicious activity before fraud could happen. That experience revealed something powerful. Large amounts of data were not just numbers. Hidden inside that data were patterns, connections, signals, information that could help people make better decisions. Thiel began asking a bigger question. If technology could identify fraudulent transactions in the financial world, could the same idea be used to identify threats, solve complex problems, and help organizations make critical decisions? That question became the foundation of Palantir, building a different kind of technology company. In 2003, Peter Thiel and a small group of engineers began developing a company unlike anything else coming out of Silicon Valley. The goal was not to create another consumer application. The goal was to build a powerful intelligence platform capable of connecting information from thousands of different sources. To help lead this vision, Thiel partnered with Alex Karp, who would become the company's CEO. Karp was an unusual choice compared to traditional technology executives. While many Silicon Valley founders focused on creating products for millions of everyday users, Karp believed technology should be used to solve some of the most difficult problems facing governments and industries. Together with other early founders, including Stephen Cohen, Joe Lonsdale, and Nathan Gettings, they started building what would become Palantir Technologies. Their idea was simple but extremely ambitious. Give organizations the ability to understand complex situations by connecting information that was previously impossible to combine. Instead of replacing human decision makers, Palantir wanted to give them a powerful new advantage, a way to see the bigger picture. Why the name Palantir? Even the company's name reflected its mission. The word Palantir comes from the Lord of the Rings, where the Palantiri were powerful objects that allowed people to see distant places and discover hidden information. The founders believed the name represented exactly what they were trying to build. Not a crystal ball, not a machine that could predict the future, but a technology that could reveal connections already hidden inside massive amounts of information. The idea was that the answers already existed. The challenge was finding them, the first major challenge. But creating revolutionary technology was only the beginning. The hardest part was convincing organizations to trust a young company with some of the most sensitive information in the world. Governments and intelligence agencies deal with extremely important data: security, defense, operations, national interests. A mistake could have serious consequences. Palantir needed more than a good idea. It needed credibility. And that opportunity came from an organization created specifically to support technologies important to national security. In Thiel, the investment arm connected to the intelligence community, saw potential in Palantir's technology. The investment provided more than financial support. It gave Palantir something even more valuable: validation, a signal that this small startup was developing something that could become strategically important. With that support, Palantir accelerated the development of its first major platform, a system that would become the foundation of its reputation around the world. Its name was Palantir Gotham, the beginning of a new intelligence platform. Gotham was designed to solve a problem that organizations everywhere struggled with: too much information and not enough clarity. The platform could combine data from different sources, create connections between separate pieces of information, and provide analysts with a complete picture of complex situations. Imagine investigators looking at thousands of different records: financial activity, travel history, communication networks, locations, relationships between people and organizations. Before platforms like Gotham, connecting those details could take weeks or months. Palantir changed that process by helping users discover relationships almost instantly. The company had created something different. It was not simply storing information. It was creating a system that helped people understand it. And that idea would eventually expand far beyond government and intelligence. Because Palantir discovered that one of the biggest problems facing governments was also a problem facing businesses around the world: managing complexity. And solving that problem would open the door to the next chapter of the company's story: Gotham Foundry, and how Palantir expanded beyond government. For many years, Palantir was primarily known as a company connected to government intelligence and defense. Its work was often surrounded by secrecy. The public rarely saw what the company was building, and many people outside government circles did not even know the name Palantir. But inside the organizations using its technology, the company was solving a problem that was becoming bigger every year. The world was producing more data than ever before. Businesses were collecting information from factories, customers, financial systems, supply chains, and thousands of operational processes. But having data was not the same as understanding it. A company could know how many products it sold, but not always why sales were changing. A manufacturer could have thousands of machines producing information every second, but struggle to identify problems before they cause delays. A hospital could have millions of medical records, but finding patterns that improved patient care was incredibly difficult. The same challenge that governments faced was now affecting the private sector: too much information, too many disconnected systems, and not enough clarity. Palantir saw an opportunity. The technology that helped intelligence agencies connect complex information could also help companies operate more efficiently. This idea led to the creation of one of Palantir's most important platforms, Palantir Foundry. The creation of Foundry, unlike Gotham, which was designed primarily for government and intelligence operations. Foundry was created for businesses. The goal was to create a central operating system where companies could bring together all of their important information. Instead of having separate systems for manufacturing, sales, logistics, finance, and operations, Foundry could connect those different areas into one unified platform. The result was something completely different from traditional business software. Foundry did not simply store information. It helped organizations understand what was happening inside their operations. Executives could visualize supply chains. Engineers could identify production problems. Managers could analyze performance. Companies could make decisions based on real-time information instead of relying only on outdated reports. This approach became one of Palantir's biggest advantages. The company was not selling another software subscription. It was becoming part of how organizations actually operated, from defense to global industry. As Palantir expanded beyond government contracts, more industries began exploring its technology. Manufacturing companies used it to improve production. Energy companies used it to optimize operations. Healthcare organizations used it to analyze complex medical systems. Airlines and logistics companies used it to manage complicated networks. During major global disruptions, companies needed better visibility into their supply chains. They needed to know where problems were happening, what resources were available, and how quickly they could respond. Palantir's platforms were designed specifically for those situations. The company became known for helping organizations answer difficult questions. Where is the problem? Why is it happening? What will happen next? And what decisions should we make now? The road toward artificial intelligence. For years, Palantir was already building systems designed around one powerful idea: helping humans make better decisions using data. But then a new technology wave began changing the entire industry: artificial intelligence. The arrival of advanced AI models created a new opportunity. Companies around the world wanted to understand how they could use AI to improve productivity, automate tasks, and make faster decisions. But there was one major problem. AI systems needed access to useful information, and most companies had their data trapped in disconnected systems. This was exactly the problem Palantir had been solving for years. The company had spent 2 decades building the foundation needed for the next generation of artificial intelligence. And when the AI revolution arrived, Palantir was already prepared. The next chapter would transform the company from a specialized data platform into one of the most talked about artificial intelligence companies on Wall Street. The AI revolution, Palantir AIP, and Wall Street's discovery of a company. For years, Palantir had been building technology around a simple but powerful idea. Data is only valuable when people can use it to make better decisions. Long before artificial intelligence became the center of attention around the world, Palantir was already working on the difficult part of the AI revolution. The problem was not just creating intelligent software. The real challenge was connecting artificial intelligence to real-world information. A powerful AI model without access to accurate data is limited. It can generate answers. It can analyze information, but it does not truly understand the operations of a company, a government agency, or a complex organization. That is where Palantir believed it had an advantage. For more than 2 decades, the company had been building systems designed to organize, connect, and understand massive amounts of information. And when the world entered the era of generative artificial intelligence, Palantir was ready. The arrival of Palantir AIP. In 2023, Palantir introduced one of the most important products in its history: the artificial intelligence platform known as AIP. The goal was ambitious. Palantir wanted to help organizations use advanced AI while keeping their private and sensitive information secure. Instead of simply asking an AI chatbot general questions, companies could connect AI directly to their own operations. A manufacturer could use AI to understand production problems. A healthcare organization could analyze complex systems. A defense organization could improve planning and coordination. A business executive could ask questions about company performance, and receive insights based on real operational data. The idea was to create a bridge between artificial intelligence and the real world. Not AI as a simple assistant, but AI as a decision-making tool. The future of Palantir. Today, Palantir stands at the intersection of several major trends: artificial intelligence, big data, automation, defense technology, enterprise software, digital transformation. The company that began with a mission to help intelligence agencies connect information has transformed into a global technology platform with ambitions far beyond its original purpose. But with that opportunity comes challenges. Questions about valuation, competition, privacy, government contracts, and whether Palantir can maintain its growth as the AI industry becomes increasingly competitive. Because the biggest challenge is no longer proving that AI is powerful. The challenge is proving who can turn AI into something that creates lasting value. And Palantir believes it has already built the foundation.